Last week I gave you a bit of a hint as to what was going on today. Range Rover's jacked up, wheels off. We're going to have a look at these brakes. Apologies for the wind. I don't want to be rigged up to a wireless microphone today, so you're just going to have to put up with it, I'm afraid. So, as I've stated previously, this car, the 2010, was the 1 year that they didn't fit Brembo calipers. I just want to put that point out there because I watched it back and I thought, Brembo brakes? This has got Brembo brakes on it, it's got Brembo discs and Land Rover pads, which I'm assuming these are the original brakes, quite possibly. The car's very low mileage, it's 80-something thousand miles now, 12 years old. It's got Brembo discs on it, Land Rover pads. This year didn't have Brembo calipers. This has got the sliding caliper system with 2 pistons in it. The Brembo calipers, up until 2009, was bolted on solid and they had 4 pistons. I know somebody did say that they got the 6 piston version. I don't know if the 2011 onwards had 6 pistons, but my manual only goes up to 2010. So we're going to crack on today. We're going to do the front brakes, and then in the next week's video we'll do the back brakes. They're really quite straightforward. If you've got a 2010, you're going to find that taking the caliper carrier off is quite bleeding awkward because there's a huge splined bolt that's in it. It's not just I think on the earlier versions it was a 16mm bolt that held the caliper carrier on. I haven't got the right socket now. Tina's delved through her dad's old tools and possibly her grandfather's old tools, and we found a 7/16 Whitworth 12-point socket. It's a little bit loose, but it's the tightest thing we've got. So if you're going to be taking your car apart and it's got these brakes on it, I think it's going to be about 20mm. I'll show you it when we get them out, but the job nearly got put on hold because we couldn't. I thought, while I'm on the floor, I'll make sure I've got all the tools I need to do it, and then the Hobbit can go off and do her own thing. And this was the one thing that was going to hold the job up. Luckily, we found something that will do the job. First thing I've done, taken the top off the master cylinder. When we squeeze the pistons back, all the fluid's going to go up into the master cylinder, and that'll just relieve a bit of pressure so it won't squirt everywhere. So we've done that job first. Now we're going to take this caliper off. Yet again, Tina's old tools strike. My 17mm is too fat to fit in there, so we've had to go imperial. It's not ideal. 11/16 is pretty much the equivalent of 17mm. That fits in there now, so we can take these bolts out. We're not going to need that again because the pads come with a new set of these. This caliper should just come straight off. I've already unclipped the wire. That was just hooked into the thing for the bleed nipple. So that just comes off. I'll try and get that up there. There's your pads. I've already started loosening this, so that's why it's wobbling about a little bit. Take the disc off. It's a 6mm Allen bolt in there. And there we go. One disc. She's going to go and give me a back one. Ah. Hobbit, Hobbit, calling all hobbits. Are you there, Hobbit?
What now?
You have provided me with a rear disc. Could you come and get me a front disc, please?
Your fault.
Well, that as it may be, but I could do with a front one as I'm working on the front of the car. I can't hear you, over. We'll try again. I think somehow they've got mixed up, and I said that, those two there are the front brakes and they turned out to be the rear brakes.
I said, innovate. Heavy. So I'll put this one at the back, shall I?
Yeah, this is a front one. Oh, here. Oh, it's gone on. It's a good start, isn't it?
What's the difference between the two though?
What, the thickness?
Well,
The old and the new?
yeah, just out of curiosity.
Quite a bit.
Just a bit. I wonder what I can use those old ones for.
Bit of brake cleaner. I'll put it on and then we'll do the front. There is a torque setting for this bolt that holds the disc on. It's something like 16 Newton meters, 12 foot-pounds. I haven't got a torque wrench that goes down that low, so it's just going to be use your common sense and just nip it up. It doesn't want to be too tight, but it wants to be tight enough that it won't come loose. Let's clean the front of this off now. Whoa! Wind's in the right direction, obviously, getting me covered. Now when you've got two pistons, you want to be a bit careful that it doesn't push the other piston out. Oh, like that. Because that could have been a disaster. So with the new pads we get a set of clips and a new set of bolts. So the clips just go on here and just push these off. And what I'm going to do is just clean these up with a wire brush. These sliders are nice and free. If they were a bit stiff, I would take them out and clean them up, but they're not, so I'm going to bolt this bit back on. Now this caliper carrier to the hub, regardless of whether it's got the Brembo calipers or these brakes, or if it's the earlier TD6s or anything like that, you tighten them up 65 Newton meters, which is 48 foot-pounds, and then a further 90 degrees. So we'll get 65 Newton meters on here. So there's your 65 Newton meters. They're quite straightforward, they just fit in there. Push down on it. I'd like to put a bit of copper grease on the surfaces that move about.
How are you doing up here?
Just putting it all back together now.
Is it worth been getting on with everything I made?
I'm not sure yet. If it all goes to plan, I'll be quite quick, but you know what us and plans are like.
Yeah, I'll go and
New bolts for the calipers. Right. Torque settings for those is something like 16 Newton meters, 12 foot-pounds, and again, common sense, just nip it up. They don't need to go mega tight. The new bolts have already got thread lock on them. Got to get this wear wire indicator thing back on. Okay, pump the pedal.
I have.
Keep pumping it.
That's hard.
It's gone rock hard, has it?
Yeah.
And off.
Yeah.
On.
Okay.
Yeah, it's good.
Off.
Yeah. Before you set off, pump your pedal. As I said before, it's a nice solid pedal. We'll take it nice and steady. Now what I normally do when I've got put new brakes on is the first couple of applications I'll just get it up to speed, up to about 30-40 miles an hour, then just brake hard. Not hard, emergency stop hard, but just make sure that everything's all settling in. I'll just get around this corner so I can see where I'm going. So get it up to about 30 miles an hour and just brake hard. Make sure there's nothing behind you, of course. I'm just going to do that again. Just get it up to, just get it rolling, 50 kilometers an hour. Just brake hard. Make sure it pulls up in a straight line, which it does. There's no noises, nothing. So once I've done that a couple of times, it's just trying to avoid heavy braking for a couple of 100 miles. And that'll just bed the brakes in. If you get your pads If you get your pads too hot when they're new, they'll glaze over and they'll go like glass, and you won't have a very good pedal. I can already tell the pedal is better now than it was before. There's no play in it. There's a lot of bite at the top. So I hope you like this video. Please give it a big thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.